Hey guys, welcome to the top 10 worst, top 20, no, top 30 worst movies of 2023. That's right. Grab yourself a beer, grab yourself some popcorn, maybe get a notepad or write some of these down if you want to see how bad they are yourself. Strap in. This is going to be a very long video. I'm going to rattle off like 10 or 20, and then we'll go deep into 10. My list, Joe's list, Alex's list. Get ready. Let's do it. Starting at number 30, which I don't even have a graphic for 30, so I guess I just kind of awkwardly stood there. It is, I have 10 of these.
I do.
Now, the reason why I'm going to rattle these off is because I did not watch them. This is a list of worst ones on Rotten Tomatoes, and I just kind of want to put these on the list so that you can be aware of some of these. So I'm going to go ahead real quick. You have The Mother. This is Netflix. This is Jennifer Lopez as a elite assassin. And
She's still making movies? I didn't even know.
Yeah, she's still making movies. 43% on Rotten Tomatoes. We have Paint, which looked like a Bob Ross film. Did you see the pictures for this?
I saw the trailer.
Yeah, it's
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson, 32%. It focuses way more on his rivalry with some other just like comedy. It just didn't work. Next is Freelance. This is John Cena and Allison Brie. 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. God damn. The audience scores much higher at 77. But this is just one of those dime a dozen kind of, the ridiculous poster looking thing, just generic. Then next is Pet Sematary Bloodlines. Now, this one was Paramount Plus exclusive. And I wanted to see this one, but I kept putting it off and putting it off. Apparently some kind of prequel, 22% on Rotten Tomatoes. Half-hearted stabs at expanding the Stephen King's original story and lore, but it's largely lost in a substandard story, bland gore, ineffective horror.
Same with the
Dead
first
is
one.
better.
Yeah.
Now, I got to say that in the horror genre this year really fucking killed it. I have so many good recommendations for you on my top list, but we're going to continue to go with bad. This one is so bad. It came out in 2020, but it has 2023, I guess because it was held for 3 years. Children of the Corn remake. This is 12%
Trash.
on Rotten. Did you see
Trash.
this?
I was wanting to see it, but then I kind of started. I was like, no.
Yeah, just extremely boring, right? Bereft of a single kernel of fear or excitement, Children of the Corn suggests a franchise irrecoverably lost in a maze of sub-mediocrity. God damn. Boy, makes me curious to throw it on, right?
That's not
Next is You People. This is Jonah Hill, Eddie Murphy.
saw it.
Everybody says Eddie Murphy's good in it, but it just did not work. In fact, there's zero chemistry between the two romantic leads.
Didn't they have the CGI kiss?
They had the CGI kiss at the end. Super awkward. Made no
Yeah.
sense. 40% on Rotten
Waste of time.
Tomatoes. Next is Ghosted. This is Chris Evans and the really hot actress.
Anna de Armas, right?
Exactly. Zero chemistry. What happens when you do a romantic kind of thing when the two leads have absolutely zero chemistry?
Which is weird because they actually had some chemistry, like when the Ryan Johnson movie in Knives Out, they worked okay in that.
Listlessly wafting between action, comedy, and romance without ever solidifying into a satisfying whole, Ghosted earns a chorus of boos. And here we go into number 23, Heart of Stone. This one I didn't even know existed, but Red Notice, Netflix keeps dumping money into trying to get big money, and they got Gal Gadot to do a action mystery thriller, Heart of Stone. Gal Gadot remains entertaining as an action star, but she's no match for Heart of Stone's thinly written characters, generic plot, rote set pieces, just boring. Finally, no, not finally. Number 22, Wish, a Disney. Bad year for Disney, and this one escapes at number 22. The audience is holding this up at 81%, but 48% critics and basically just pointless. You know,
The
losing
sad thing
their
is,
way.
like, I saw a clip of this during like one of the musical scenes. You see, like Disney back then used to do amazing stuff. This is just like text.
Yeah.
They just do text.
They just
I was
do-
like, what?
What do you mean? I
Just,
don't get it.
They just do subtitles for the musical parts.
Yeah, like written on the screen.
Just right on the screen.
Okay.
They don't do like, anything cool or anything. They just like.
That's
spell
pretty
it out.
bad. Pretty bad. They've lost their way. They tried to do a cinematic universe and explain all the different films in this film. Like, this film is the grandfather, and now everybody's like, no, put that grandpa in the closet and shut the door. Okay, and then finally here at films that we haven't seen but just top, Rotten Tomatoes is number 21. This is the worst film, number 1 on everybody's list. It's worst reviewed on Rotten Tomatoes, worst reviewed on IMDb and
gonna guarantee
Metacritic.
you've seen
Guess it. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Have you seen it?
I have seen
You
it.
have?
It's on my list.
It's at a 3%
It's on my list.
of 100. I kind of want to watch it.
I'll tell you about it
when it's time.
we.
Oh, brother. Is
oh
the
bother.
Oh, bother.
Oh,
That's
bother.
what it was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
bother. That's all it says.
They don't talk though. They don't talk at all. They don't say anything.
Okay. Well, basically, the worst, because all these copyright things are starting to expire. Winnie the Pooh expired, and this one came and capitalized off that. Recently, Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse expired, and people are probably already producing shit like this for that.
They are.
All right, so that was the first 10 of our 30. I have an extra 10, so I'll go. The boys went to 10, right?
5.
Y'all went to 5?
We always go
We
to
always,
5.
we always do 5. We jump
Every year.
because we do top 10. We jump into 5.
I don't remember what we did last
you
year.
went
Probably
30.
because I'm trying to avoid the thing being 7 hours.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
thought
why
y'all
I
were
was
gonna do 10
surprised.
this
You're
year.
like, I have
don't know.
30. I'm like, holy shit.
I think I did tell y'all, guys, give me top 10, but you guys went to what we did last year. Okay, well, fine. Okay, now we're starting with 20 through 10. These are, they're not so bad, right? These are, middling, plenty of average to below average where you're just disappointed. Now, my first disappointed is probably controversial, and it's going to piss many of you off. I'll just come out and say it. Super Mario Brothers at number 20.
That is definitely going to piss off a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah.
We already pissed off a lot of
we
people.
did, we did.
This video kind of flew under the radar. We didn't get too much blowback for it. I don't know why. We've got more blowback for other opinions, but we felt Super Mario Brothers was average at best, a 5 out of 10.
I said it was worse than that. And honestly, if you want to give it a pass because it's a colorful kids movie, so be it. This is the guy that gave us Lego Batman. Which is
Great.
great. So he showed
Hilarious.
us we
10
can
out
have,
of 10.
Absolutely. We can have really great comedy. We can have really great voice acting. We can have a cool story, interesting stuff, emotion in there. This movie had fucking none of it. There was not a single bit of. There was one funny part with a dance with the penguins and one funny part with a flame.
Peaches,
It
peaches.
was also in
Right.
the trailer, so it's like it wasn't funny
like
the 100th time that I had seen it.
Yeah.
And then there was no emotion whatsoever
Yes.
between Luigi or Mario
Yes.
or his family or anything, and it had no plot. So
It
it's like-
had references. That's it.
The
so
member
if you are
berries, that's all it
excited
was.
by member berries and references, great. I'm glad you like the fucking movie. This is a he's being kind. I don't
I
have
am
to be
being
kind.
kind.
This movie is a bad fucking movie, and Super Mario the franchise and us as fans deserve better.
Probably should have put it on top 10. Okay, moving on. Number 19. This is one that I saw on my own. The Pope's Exorcist with
I skipped that one.
his name is escaping me. Russell
Russell
Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe packing on the pounds just like I am, and he is
Vulcan
a priest, bulked up for this role because apparently this was a superhero film, guys. I'm not joking. They did like they're going to do the Avengers only with priests.
The Dark Universe kind of
They
thing.
set up a dark universe with exorcism towards the end. I'm like, what the fuck is
kinda wanna
happening?
watch that
You should
now.
kind of
After
watch it
you
because
told
it's
me about
really
it.
bad,
Oh, okay.
but it's also like the way they film like an action scenes, almost like it's a new superhero franchise. It's bad.
After you told me about that, I was like, I got to go watch it.
You
So
should
I went
watch it.
to go watch
You
it.
did?
Yes, I saw it
What you
God.
am I right? No, don't they
Terrible.
kind of
No,
try to set
yes,
up
it's
like a
what
war?
is this? This is fucking terrible.
I don't even remember what they do to set it up. Did they call people or some shit at the
Yeah,
end?
it's-
I remember. Y'all, okay, anyway, moving on. Number 18, It Lives Inside. This is one of those nights where I went in, I was like watching horror movie, and I was trying to dig up some good ones. This It Lives Inside, I think, was intrigued me about it. It was like Indian lore, like Indian horror. I'm like, man, I don't know anything about Indian culture, and as far as their nightmares and
The
stories.
Wendigo.
I was hoping. No. I'm talking about Indian. That's American Indian,
Oh,
right? I'm
okay.
talking about Indian.
Oh.
Now, this actually. So I was expecting something unique, something different, and it was just boring. Super boring. The performance is flat. There was no scares in it. Skip it. Don't buy. It's a a girl at school is very quiet and to herself, and there seems to be something wrong. She's always holding this jar, and you think when the jar opens, a monster comes out or whatever. But it just doesn't work. It's not scary. Number 17, Knock at the Cabin. This is an M. Night Shyamalan film, and it was all right enough. That's why it's at number 17. But it's just the reveal at the end does not have any
twist.
impact.
No.
The twist that M. Night does, it's just not there. Number 16, Boo is Afraid. I went to a drive-in theater. And this one is so long. This one's I forget the director's name. Ari Aster. I love Hereditary. I love Midsummer. These were horror films that are legendary to me. They're very, very scary and really good. And Boo's Afraid, I knew wasn't going to be a horror. I knew it was going to be so kind of like a surrealist kind of wacky thing. But I was willing to come in. It was. It starts well enough, but then it just fucking, goes off the rails on purpose. I'm at the drive-in theater. Cars are actually wanting to leave, even though they can't leave. A guy gets out of his car, asks another dude, and he's like, "Oh, I'm leaving already." And so everybody started leaving.
Damn.
By the end of the film, it was just me, Melissa. We're watching the film, and two other cars. And then before the credits start rolling, the other cars were pulling away, and then
Way to be a trooper, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Way to
I
be
was
a
like, no,
trooper.
I fucking.
We paid for this.
Yeah, well, here's the
What do you
thing is we tried to watch it earlier, but it got rained out. And so when we went back, I was like, no, man, I'm going to fucking watch this to the end. And we were just like, oh, my God, it was really bad.
How many
Anyways,
naked old people were in it? Because that's his thing.
no naked old people.
None?
So he stayed away from naked old people. Well, there's an old guy on the fucking roof that falls down on him and is creepy.
There's not a big wiener. Someone told me.
I don't
about
remember if it was a wiener. His wiener might have been out.
That's what
I don't
you remember?
that. Oh, I didn't watch the movie, but someone was like, "Oh man,
Those
it's
big wieners.
It's,
Forget-
it's his thing. He likes naked old people."
Yes.
It felt pointless and it went nowhere, and I didn't get it. I mean, I got it, but because there is that fear of tension. There's constant tension and paranoia and fucking, and he does well at that. But when you try to keep that up for the entire film, and then the plot ends up nowhere with no solved anything, it just feels bad. All right, number 15 is The Exorcist Believer. This was a colossal disaster. The movie studios spent $500,000 buying the Exorcist license so that they can do a whole new trilogy because hot off Halloween, all the recent Halloween films, this director was like, okay,
We'll die tonight.
yeah,
Tomorrow
we're
night.
going to do The Exorcist now. And they thought they were going to do a bunch of films. And in fact, they got Reagan back at the end. She shows up for half a second at the end, teasing what they're going to do in the future. And The Exorcist Believer is about two little girls that get possessed. And it just apparently was just, not apparently, it was just boring, not scary.
You know why it didn't do well? The patriarchy.
Yeah, there was some stupid bullshit about
She wasn't high enough,
the
Alex.
original priest didn't let me in the room
Because of the
That's-
patriarchy. I didn't
my
watch the movie.
God.
I just- someone sent me
that
the clip.
I saw
doesn't
it.
that only appears once. It doesn't ruin the whole film. The film fucks itself up. But just
It
putting
is
that
bad.
in there
It's on my list.
on top of that is just so you seen it?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about yours
Yeah.
later apparently. And then Expendables 4 is at number 14.
It's not good.
Did you end up seeing
I
it?
watched it. Yeah,
Watched
it's-
it on my own.
It's not good.
I avoided it. I was like, how are you gonna have
Boring.
Yeah.
The action is
Megan
even
Fox
lazy.
is not an action star. Like, I get it, but the Expendables are supposed to be action stars.
Yeah. You remember when we were like, we don't care about the new people here, and we want the originals and olds, and bring people, bring Jackie Chan, bring all these other people. This one goes even further in the direction that we hated, where it's like, here's the new crew.
But I do love Tony Jaa. He was the bright spot of the whole movie
Yeah.
because he elbows and knees everyone.
Yes,
and
he's great.
I
But
love Tony.
It's not worth watching.
No.
Not
Exactly
even on
why I skipped
VOD.
it. That's why I
Al
skipped it.
Pacino does not want to, or no, not Al Pacino. Sorry, Garcia. Andy
Oh,
Garcia
okay.
and he doesn't want to be in this movie, and you can tell he doesn't want to be in this movie. It was bad.
Number 13, Peter Pan and Wendy. I bet y'all didn't know that there was a new Peter Pan
did.
film
Oh, I
on
did
Disney.
know. I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
I
it was.
skipped it because I saw some of the reviews. I was like, this is going to be trash.
Or I didn't even finish it. It was so bad. And it was so boring. It was the colors are sapped out of it, which is a perfect metaphor for this film. Like everything is sapped out of the film. It's so rote, so boring, so and they do a lot of modern politics in it, and it's just so eye
rewatch Hook.
rolling. It's yes.
Hook is.
I mean,
is-
Hook
Disney
is
has
10
been-
out of 10.
has been fucking flopping with these live actions. I
Yeah.
don't want to watch
just
it.
want
Fucking
content.
Hocus
That's why
Pocus
they
2
stuffed
as
this
well.
on the service.
Yeah.
They didn't even come out in theaters. They just buried this like they're Pinocchio.
There's isn't Jude Law in this too? Like there's someone big in this.
It was, yeah. Number 12 is Insidious Red Door. We did review this. I don't even fucking remember the film. It was so
I was
bad.
about to say that. I was like, wait, that came out this year?
So I'd never
forgot
seen
about
any
that.
Insidious movies, and I thought this was part of the other universe, and so I was like, "What is happening in this thing?" But yeah, this movie was terrible.
The first one was good. I liked that
Alex,
one.
tell us what the
Darth
fuck
Maul.
happened. I don't even fucking remember.
So his son goes off to school, and what has happened is he starts to see that a red door is like appearing in his paintings, and there's a guy that it's supposed to be scary. You guys, he has like a wig or something, and then the
Darth
kid,
Maul?
yeah, Darth Maul kind of guy, and he goes to the door, and then there's an old lady there for some reason, and I'm supposed to know who these people are, and then yeah.
Yeah, it is disappointing. It is, previous installments people enjoyed. This, I didn't even enjoy those, and I enjoyed this even less. It's it goes back, and it kind of like a little prequel elements, but then sequel elements, and this is an example of what's wrong with the horror industry today. This is sequel upon sequel of milking these franchises, and honestly, they weren't even that creative and scary in the first place. Relying on jump scares, relying on named actors, and just really lazy and not very good. By the way, the Peter Pan and Wendy, 11% audience score and 64% critics.
For a Disney thing?
Because all the messages and the political bullshit. Yeah, pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to number 11. The last, right before we get to our top 10. This one slipped out of the top 10. It was in there at one point, but it is Meg 2, The Trench. We gave it a 5 out of 10, and it was, it wasn't as good as the first. We enjoyed the first. The first was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They could have done a lot of different directions in this, but instead they went for spectacle and took it too serious and nonsense instead of it being over the top, leaning into those elements and really being campy fun. Critics 27, audience 73.
Jason Statham free swims at like 5 miles under the ocean, and I also think
Holding his breath.
he's like all he does is go, and then he can go out at the bottom of the ocean.
He had a little bit of blood.
The submarine in real life in the news, the submarine imploding in the news probably did some disservice to this movie when it came out, and everyone's like, "Wait a minute, that is not how pressure works."
Well, even in down Periscope, when they put that little line and they
Oh,
start
you can see if
sinking,
you,
it starts.
you see you push it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also uses his legs to prevent a megalodon from biting him. So his legs are like that's why you don't skip leg day. So
That's fun stuff, though.
yeah.
I need more of that shit in the movie. Unfortunately, that it didn't. All right. So anyway, let's go with the top 10 now. All right. So the boys, I wanted the boys to do 10, but they thought I meant the last year where they did 5. So we'll just go with it because I put in fucking 30 in this anyway. All right. So we'll do my 5, and then we'll get to the top 5 where the boys will join in. So here's number 10. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. This year was the death of superhero
Agreed.
films. Not just DC, but all superhero films. Almost all of them sucked. Almost all of them. And so we have a lot to talk in this. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. It was held up by audiences. Audience 86. Critics 49, and that's a little closer to where it is. It was the villains, the old ladies, not entertaining. CGI dragon fight, a really poor cameo from Gal Gadot. Just a dead and dying franchise with a lead that's like, yeah, I'm gonna be in the DCU because my friend, and then his friend apparently didn't pull him in the DCU. But we've yet to know.
Bitch.
Yeah, taste the rainbow motherfucker.
Taste the rainbow
It was a bitch,
motherfucker.
yeah, so-
That's when a little girl throws Skittles
Skittles
at
paid
the
a lot.
enemies.
They paid a lot for this movie.
I'm gonna say this is so stupid. They didn't even pay Skittles. They did it for fucking free. That's how stupid that shit was. Skittles was like, oh man,
in
goddamn.
this movie.
There was a several thousand-year-old woman trying to have a romantic relationship with a child.
Yeah, but she was young and hot in this film, so it's okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the message here. So, you know, they do a little bit of a fight, a fake out with Shazam dying that did get a little bit of emotion because I liked Shazam, but there's such a huge disconnect between the child Shazam and the actor Shazam, and you know, and while I like the Shazam and I like him enough, even though outside of the film he's saying and doing stupid shit. I like it enough to where Zachary Levi, Shazam, that I wouldn't mind seeing him in the DCU if they eventually do. Because at one point he says he's friends with, you know, James Gunn. But since then, it doesn't seem as if James is going to bring him into the new DCU, to be perfectly honest.
James is like, we're more like of an acquaintance.
Yeah.
He thinks we're friends.
It's
Damn.
nothing interesting, nothing of substance, doesn't add anything to the lore, and really disappointing if you consider Black Adam and this tying in. Black Adam isn't even fucking mentioned. That's the direction that they should have gone. There should have been Black Adam versus Shazam, and then maybe they could have saved the DC EU. But because this came out, it just added another nail in the coffin. CGI climax, rushed.
Well, I mean, Shazam's on my list as well, and I think that the biggest thing that they did is the core concept of Shazam is it's supposed to be the joy of a child being a superhero, and there's such a massive disconnect here. The two actors, it's like two different scriptwriters who never talk to each other were writing for both characters, and so it is such a massive
They
disconnect.
don't seem like the same person.
They're not, and so it is a huge fucking disconnect, and I think that if you don't get that right, then you failed from the very beginning. That's the foundation of the movie, and you fucked everything up from the start.
And no connection to Superman, which Shazam in the comics, the best versions, is he looks up to Superman. And that they had that a little bit in the first film where they cut his head off. They didn't even bother here. So really bad. Moving on, number 9, Rebel Moon. Zack Snyder's new universe. The Star Wars killer. I saw people on Twitter. Oh man, I have a feeling this is gonna be so good. It's like you got tricked by the trailer, all the impressive shots. Like, don't you know by now that Zack Snyder's good at the imagery and trailer shots? But then when it comes to the substance, when it comes to the dialogue, when it comes to the story, when it comes to the writing, when it comes to the characters,
Just not there.
they're not there. Dude, we don't even know anything about any of the fucking Seven Samurai that come. It was a fucking layup. I just seen Zack Snyder in the fucking short shorts and the basketball outfit, the 80s basketball outfit, trying to do a layup and fucking missing a goddamn layup in the most dorky and unimaginable way. Because you had the Seven Samurai formula, and he doesn't even do it here. He breaks it into 2 pieces. Well, you cannot break the 2 pieces. That's what he did. I guarantee you he broke the Seven Samurai formula where you get all the samurais together and they make one final stand to protect the town. Well, guess what? That never happens in the film. It feels like it's 2 acts, And then he puts a climax at the end of the second act because they all get captured. You're supposed to be at the lowest point of the film, and then a fight breaks out, and then it ends. They don't even go back to the town. They do go back to the town by the end, and then they're like, this is a good place to die, and they're coming for us. And I'm like, the third act is part 2? That's what is happening.
Yeah.
This thing was fucking shit because like when they get captured, it's like, who are these people? There's no chemistry. There's nothing between these people. So you don't give a shit. And then the main villain has to tell us everything about them. It's like, this one is a prince,
one by one.
I'm like,
And
really?
you-
We're doing this
You
now?
are really cool, audience.
Yeah.
This guy here, wow, I'm
Oh, he's a
scared of him.
badass.
Oh.
I would have loved to see that. I would have given some extra points. But like, it was fucking dumb. Like, I still remember that quote. It's like that. Everyone's gonna be talking about this movie for a long time. It's like, yeah, but in a bad way. It's gonna be like, don't do this.
Yeah, I mean,
This is
the
fucking
best
bad.
part of this film was the fact that it aped the Imperium and fucking Warhammer 40,000 imagery. That was the best part.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Alex.
Oh, it's on my list. It is,
Okay, we'll get there. All right, so moving on to number 8, 65. It's tough because Adam Driver kills it. Almost every fucking movie. You know, that marriage movie that he was in, that was like a 10 out of 10. The performances are amazing. And Adam does the best he can with this material, but how do you fuck up dinosaurs, laser guns, and, you know, going back and
You can watch it
Just-
again, and that's how they fucked it.
Yeah.
They
You
fucked
look
it
at it and you're like, oh my god, what is this shit?
it was bad.
Yeah,
What-
it was boring and
Boring.
it was ridiculous and it just it continues to spiral out of control and I just don't know what they were going for. It almost felt like a made for sci-fi movie in the like Sci-Fi Channel in
Yeah.
the worst
Yeah.
way.
Missed opportunities. A sodden sci-fi that somehow finds a way to bungle Adam Driver fighting dinosaurs. 65, more like closer to 0. That's not a very good quote, but yeah.
65 out of 1,000.
Yeah, it's pretty much. All right, and then number 7, Fast X. Listen, I came into this one like, look, all these movies are dumb. They have the potential to make a top worst list, but they're dumb fun, right? This one was dumb. And the set pieces sucked. The only thing that was good about the film was fucking Jason Momoa
Not giving a shit.
not
just like,
giving
whatever.
a fuck, just acting ridiculous and crazy. Watching him just overact and smile and go crazy because his father's dead that we never knew it was his father 5 films ago. I mean, the audience score held this up 84%, critics 56%, but I felt that Fast X was a dud and wasn't as entertaining as previous ones.
Yeah,
and that's from a defender of facts. I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
I have not been a defender because I saw the first Fast and the Furious and then I skipped to like 7 and then I started watching it with you guys and I don't think that I think these movies when I've seen them have been dumb for a long time and this one just like jumped the shark.
Yeah.
It was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there's like a ball that he's using like his car to hit around the city of Rome. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like I don't.
That's not even good. And they've done, those kinds of car chases before with dangerous things flying down a road way better than this. So, yeah, I gave this a 4. The previous one, I wanted to give ratings for each one of these. 65, I gave a 4 out of 10 to. Rebel Moon, we gave a 4 out of 10 to. And Shazam, we gave a 5 out of 10 to. So, moving on to number 6, this one will definitely piss people off. Just like my Super Mario Bros., okay? I was being kind. I put it at 20. This one cracked the top 10. And it is a video game-based movie. I think the other video game-based movie that did very, very well. And it's going to get a bunch of sequels. It's Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, it's a bad movie.
I ended up giving it a 3 out of 10. That one, we did get downvoted. Because everybody was like, no, this film is amazing. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no scares at all.
There's no jump scares.
Yeah,
It's a-
I think it
it's
was
movie.
made for children, and it was toned down, and maybe that's the explanation.
It's a
for-
movie about a dude sleeping Like that's what it is. Like that.
4 nights of boredom.
Yeah, he just doesn't do anything, and then
Critics are with us on this. 32%. Audiences say, hell no, y'all are wrong. 87%.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is one of those ones that the longer this goes, because a lot of times we are shitting on movies and people get mad, and then I see 6 months later people are like, oh yeah, you're right, that movie was bad. It's
that
like,
happens all the time with us.
because people,
I remember when I reviewed Destiny 2.
I remember that.
Yeah.
The
Those
first
rose-tinted
Destiny, everybody
glasses.
fucking hated me.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
And then they were like, oh,
take them
Joe
off.
was right.
Take them off.
Yeah,
Okay. There
it takes a
is.
little while because I mean, you know, we try. I mean, we're not like I wouldn't say that we're serious movie critics, but we try to
I'm
do
worse.
our. We try
You
to,
are, Alex.
I'm
I
the
think
worst.
your
I
criticisms
just have
are
fun with
fucking
it.
dead on. Me and Joe, we call them like we see them. We're not as good with the words, but I think we got it right on this.
Yeah, this is one of the ones where I feel pretty confident that given a year time, people will go back and go like, you know what, this
There's
movie.
sequels. I bet you the sequels are going to be better too.
I would hope so. I hope they
so.
learn from it and go, wait, maybe we don't make this movie fucking boring about a dude dreaming, and we make it about the things that actually made the video games fun.
Yeah.
Right, way more animatronics, way more lore, rather than some guy who has trauma from the past who we don't really care about.
Yeah.
They go full into the audience character when they really needed to do a little bit more with the animatronics. Loaded with Easter eggs. See, that's what it is, guys. Here's what happened with Super Mario Brothers and Five Nights at Freddy's. Your mass audience goers, not critics, your mass audience goers, if they see references and Easter eggs and things that are
the
in the
Leo meme?
games, that's a 9 out of
Oh, there it
10.
is.
That's a 10 out of 10. The Leo thing. And critics aren't impressed with that. Those things, we consider those things should be there.
Yeah.
Okay, bare minimum. Now, what about the connective tissue around those different things? Is the connective tissue good? Is it delicious? Here, it's not. Okay, loaded with Easter eggs, Five Nights at Freddy's. May be fun to watch for fans of the game, but most other viewers and other persuasions will find this adaptation muddled and decidedly unscary, which is true. Okay. An audience says perfectly captured the lore and the spirit of the source material. Five Nights at Freddy's is a long-awaited treat for fans of the game. You fans of the game, you deserved more. This wasn't that scary. You're not rewatching it over and over. You didn't buy the DVD and be like, man, let's watch this every
Yeah,
fucking
no.
Halloween. Nope. Maybe the sequels, because you know they're coming, because it made dirty money. Moving on to, finally, we have arrived to our top 5, so the boys will join us here. Number 5 for me was Aquaman 2. Gave a 3 out of 10 to. And I think upon reflection, I actually liked it a little bit better than a 3 out of 10. This is one of those that I'd probably raise when some of the other ones I'm about to talk about go down even more. Audiences, 81%. Critics, 34%. Jason Momoa remains capable, committed leading man, but even DC diehards may feel that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom sticks to too familiar waters.
And Dolph Lundgren was shitting on it this week. He was saying that they refilmed so much stuff, like cutting stuff out
Yep.
of Amber Heard stuff, removing Batman from it, and it's one of the reasons that it ultimately didn't work.
This was the death knell. This was literally the last film in the DCEU, and it didn't have any energy.
Was
It
a
didn't have any
stinker.
laughs except for, the cockroach thing. Even jokes that it sets up purposefully, it doesn't hit a punchline.
They flubbed it.
It doesn't, that still bothers me to this day. Where
Right?
Aquaman is like, yeah, cockroaches eat that thing. Land people love it, and he eats it. And they're
walks
brothers, and he goes, ha ha, I made you the cockroach, you idiot. And Aquaman's like, yeah,
Yeah, like,
the
so-
cockroaches are delicious.
So does Aquaman eat cockroaches?
Yes, he does. He thinks
Yeah,
cockroaches are that's the joke, that they both are sea dwellers and they love cockroaches. But it would have been way funnier. It
Yes.
fits way more the fact that they're brothers and they're teasing each other. Like, that is what I liked about this film. And that's why I would probably rate it higher than a 3. Maybe I'd get up to a 4. Because I liked the brothers. But there wasn't enough of it. Instead, it was this really awful subplot with Black Manta being powered up by a bad villain CGI effect.
Yeah. It was a terrible MacGuffin. They just made everything up. They didn't set anything up in the previous movie, and it was just a sequel for sequel's sake. And it meant
Yeah.
nothing. Knowing that, like, hey, this universe is dead. You want to see 2 more movies? It's like, no.
No. I don't.
Please? Fine.
And you're telling me this is how they cut Amber Heard out? Amber Heard was in it way more than I thought she'd be.
Yeah.
I thought they'd cut her ass out. No, she's in it quite a bit.
Amber Turd.
Amber Turd. All right, so that's it.
My
For you
number
guys.
5, I have Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Okay.
This was a fucking colossal waste of time. Lucy Liu and Helen didn't even want to fucking be there. They didn't. You could tell it in the face.
They got their paychecks.
Yeah, exactly.
Good on
Every
you, ladies.
scene they were in, they're like, "Oh, we gotta go do this thing." Well, we did it. We defeated
Let's make a
this
bubble.
guy.
Hey, I know you've been a bad guy the whole film, but you want to help me this time? She's like, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I guess.
Yeah, the team was not a fucking team. Everyone sucked.
The fact that they brought them all back,
yeah, for
right?
what?
And
For-
for what? For what?
There's no
One guy was a studious guy, and he would explore the univerers. Like, all this shit sounds better on paper than what it was executed.
Executed
But I gotta say,
fucking
Mary's
poorly.
hot.
So, that's about the only thing. But, so that's what my 5 is.
Yeah, my 5 is Napoleon.
Oh, nice.
Ridley Scott majorly fucked this up.
I
And,
agree.
and I like Ridley Scott a lot. Some of the best movies, some of my favorite movies are Ridley Scott films. Some of my least favorite movies are also Ridley Scott films. And I think he absolutely butt-fucked the history so bad into this. And he didn't do it for exciting reasons. It's like, I liken it to Amadeus. In contrast, Amadeus is not historically accurate at all in any way, but it is an amazing story of characters and the interaction between them. And it's like you want to watch it, even though none of it ever happened. Napoleon, none of that really ever happened. The characters didn't interact that way. They even changed the fucking birthdays of these historical figures because he wanted to cast a woman that didn't deserve to be cast in that role.
Yep.
And then the
I
characters
was
are
very excited about it.
they're not likable. It's like completely watered down the actual fun history, like all of the cool shit, like him getting stabbed and we didn't do any of that shit. So
Even in battles, he didn't seem like a genius.
No.
They didn't bother to show how talented he is.
It was
all Ridley Scott did was shit on the guy the whole fucking film.
Yeah.
And I saw some articles come out. The French are like, man, why Ridley Scott? What are you doing here? And I was like, oh, shut up. And I hadn't seen the film yet. I was like, oh, y'all are just. Of course, he has flaws. And then I went into it. I was like, no, that's an angry Englishman making a movie about a French guy.
It was a hit
And
piece.
these they don't like each other, Joe.
No.
Just to tell you the history of the French and the English. And you think, no, that has nothing to do with it. Nah, man, it just seems like Ridley Scott doesn't care about Napoleon and thinks he's I don't know, not very great.
Yeah. Now, I understand that there are probably worse films that I've seen than this, but Napoleon is one of those things that I like these kinds of movies. I love the historical movies, and when you fuck it up that bad, I have to put you on the list.
Yay, I'm happy we have a film on here that I didn't expect, and honestly, it probably would have thrown it like number
One of
15,
30 in
16,
there.
something like that. What about you, Joe?
I already did. We're going to 4
Shazam.
now.
Going to 4. Number 4. Joe will appreciate this. I don't think Alex has seen it. This we rated a 2 out of 10. Wait, you're already at 2 out of 10? Yeah. But here's the thing, is that I didn't have a high bar. Okay, some of the films above this one had, like, they were colossal fuck-ups. This one was like, okay, come on. You've got a great premise. Execute it. 2 out of 10. It fucking sucked. It was Slaughterhouse. You remember, Joe?
Holy shit.
Yeah, you forgot that we
I forgot
rated
it
this
came out
so
this year,
fucking
yeah.
bad. It came out 2023. We were looking forward to this in 2022. We were like, oh
Yes.
man, let's review this.
Yeah.
Well, me and Joe saw it, separately, and it was just so disappointing. It has the greatest premise. You get this little puppet, little sloth, murdering a bunch of teenagers and sorority teenagers,
Yeah,
right?
I was expecting some cool kills.
Cool kills.
Be creative with it.
Funny, creative little bits. None of that. None of it is more about these girls in the sorority and how awesome they are.
I wanted.
How fucking cool this one chick is. She's all like,
with the
I'm
with
the
the
coolest guy. I'm like, she's like Butch, and she's all
I
like,
wanted to mute her every
yeah.
time she was
what
on
up?
screen.
What up? Just what up? That's her entire personality. I just acted it out for you. She does it the entire film.
Super
And I'm thinking,
annoying.
okay, so they're going over the top. She's gonna die, and in a hilarious way. No, they glorify her. They said, "This is the best character that we have for you, and we want everybody to love her, and we know everybody's gonna love her."
Hated her.
The comedy, it's cringe. There's not a single time where I'm laughing. It was really just the little puppet, killing something. The idea of it, I was like, ha ha.
It's like a little gash and then that was the
That was it.
I was like, really?
And well,
That's
it
the
should have
best you
been.
can
It should.
do?
I cannot believe you take such a great premise like that and you fucking fumble the ball
Yes.
so bad. This is a movie that Joe would love, like these B movies, Z movies that Joe likes, and it fucked up hard. So it's number 4. That's how big of a colossal fuck up it is. We didn't even fucking review it on the show.
I forgot
and when I
it was
saw
out-
it on my
came
own, I
out
was
this year.
so disappointed and angry. But that's as high as it'll go. Number 4.
Number 4, I have the Marvels.
All right.
This is another. I'm done with fucking superheroes. We saw it because we had to.
Yeah.
First one was like whatever. Didn't expect much from this one, and it really tanked. Going in, be like, I don't give a shit. Let's see. A couple beers in, I was like, this is trash. This is fucking trash. It's like, how can you go from
so boring.
that to worse?
The villain? What the fuck was that villain?
don't
Well,
think-
do you
you
remember
don't
the
remember-
villain's name? Please, please. It was the
Something with
stupidest
a
name.
D.
Dinar? Danae? Fuck!
I don't know. I don't remember.
Alex?
You?
Villain?
I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You son of a bitch! That's right, Alex wasn't here for it, motherfucker! Should have.
Terrible
There's
revenge
nothing we can
plot.
do about it. Joe,
You
in
forgot
the
about-
bad movie, OJ's bad movies, whip out this thing.
Oh God, I don't want to put myself
know.
through that again.
All right.
The Singing Planet. What the fuck was that?
Oh, man, I just want to kill
What the fuck was that?
Yep.
Hated it. Best thing was Khan with her acting, but
Kamala, yeah. Kamala.
Kamala Khan. But
Yeah.
what
Let's.
a fucking waste.
People will not remember this one. The first one made $1 billion, didn't it? Or close to it. It was
Close-
a very
this was
big
like, okay,
success.
well,
That's
let's see what
Aquaman.
this one
The first
goes.
Aquaman made $1 billion. All right, Alex, number 4.
For me, Ant-Man 2, Quantumania. This was one that, I mean, Marvel had some flubs before, but this one was really, really bad. Like, Ant-Man had this thing where it relied on its humor before, and this one just, it wasn't funny. And then, like, the things that were funny, it was in a horrible way. Like, MODOK was just ridiculous and terrible.
One of the worst CGI effects of the year.
Yeah.
Of the entire year. And we're talking,
Spy Kids.
we've seen shit like Slaughterhouse. We've seen fucking, Five Nights at Freddy's. We've seen fucking, really bad films.
Mm-hmm.
And yet a multi-mega $million film backed by Disney has the worst CGI
Oh,
effect.
absolutely. And then, don't be a dick. Like, the motivations are terrible, and it's like the characters are bad, and then it's all resolved at the very end when we discover that there's like this, I won't spoil it for you,
Oh,
but
please do.
there's ants that we show you at the very end of this movie. It's like, oh, by the way, I have this army, and like 20 ants can take out the biggest bad in the Marvel multiverse, and they're like, oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
His powers are going.
And I don't remember what Alex gave it, but I fucked up. And my number 3, I'm going into number 3. It's Ant-Man and Quantumania. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I apologize. I don't know what was going on there because this is a 3.
Yeah,
it really is a 3. It very much soured over time. Could you imagine the hugest villain that's supposed to be in multiple movies, Kang, was less of a threat than ants? When the motherfucking ant army comes in, this guy gets his ass kicked by ants.
Well, and the ants don't go anywhere either. So it's like in the next movie, they can just be like, let's just go get the ant army again.
And they fucking come out of nowhere like this is Bill Murray's in it for no fucking reason.
He had to be there to insinuate that he used to have sex with Michelle Pfeiffer because
Yes.
she has needs.
Michelle Pfeiffer's barely in this. It's just so tired, so stupid. Kang, fucking, Jonathan Majors, hot off of Creed, great actor. His performance here, has some danger to it, has some potential. But by the end, you're just like, what was
Ants.
that? That was the best version of
Fucking
Kang?
ants.
That was the Conqueror? I'm not scared of all these thousands of guys that are going to come in if they're
That's the most dangerous one, too. Yeah, so that is the
Yeah.
most dangerous Kang.
So just that to me, combined with one of the other films on my list, ended superhero films, my excitement for them. And I think we are now at we're riding a downward spiral for superhero
I'm
films.
done. I'm done with
it
them.
may be that the trend of superhero films dominating the box office is over. It is officially over. And I don't think anything can revive it. There'll be small sporadic spurts of successes, but That's like trying to start your fucking lawnmower, right? And then maybe the X-Men, if they do it right.
I'm kind of scared.
I'm a little
Yeah.
scared,
Scared for that
at
one.
this point.
Yeah.
So. Anyways,
been
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania was my number 3. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is The Meg. I was
The Meg 2?
The Meg 2. Yes, I was hoping for this one to go crazier.
Yeah.
They had the pieces there. I was like, oh my god, you got 3 Megs and you got the fucking Kraken.
That's
This
right.
is gonna be a badass battle at the end. Just have this crazy CGI fight. But none of that happened.
Two movies slash smash
underwater.
cover.
There was the Kraken and the shark do fight, but you
For like
barely get to
2
see it for like
seconds,
2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then the Kraken just takes off. Why did it take off?
I don't know.
What happened to the Kraken?
I don't know.
What happened? This was
The guy built a bomb or something. He blew up. I don't know.
Yeah, majority of this movie was set underneath in this little mining facility, which I was fucking bored. Nothing really happened.
Yeah. It's like 2 different films.
It
Like
was.
that under the water abyss type thing, which I like the tech. I like all the cool. I was like, wow, it's got a lot of budget behind it. And the Chinese are going crazy on this one, right? And then we do the second half of the film where you see in the trailer, hey, everybody running on the beach and shit, but neither of them were very good.
No,
And you smash them together. Yeah.
I was very disappointed with
5
this one.
out of 10 is what I gave it. I don't remember what you gave it.
I think I gave it like a 3 because I was super disappointed. Because again, I wanted to see a cool fight, and the way he took care of these sharks.
Oh, kicking them and hitting them with like boards, and that's how he wins.
I was like, come on, man, come on.
My number 3 was Shazam. We talked about it. I just think that this one was a bigger failure than some of the other ones because not only did the movie itself kind of suck, but I think they got all of the characters wrong. Like the bad guys are poor, the setting's kind of poor, massive. Like we talked about the Skittles and all the other integration stuff. But then once again, we just like, how do you fuck up Shazam character so bad? It would be like having a Superman movie where they monumentally fuck up who Clark Kent is and the relationship to Superman, and that's really what they did here. It's like, how do you fuck that up? So this one was a bigger fuck up for me.
I agree with that. I agree it's 50% because I do think Shazam, the adult Shazam, acting goofy was what I like for him and what I want him to be. But the fact that he doesn't click well with his actual counterpart, who's not a kid anymore, he's now a teenager, acting like an adult, is disappointing. This storyline, what did they? It's as if they went through all the comic books of Shazam, threw them up on a wall, and then blindfolded themselves and threw a dart behind them. Mm-hmm. And it landed on a CGI dragon with the 2 old ladies. That's the one you're going to choose for your sequel? Fuck off. Especially when the DCEU is like, and you're going to go, woo! That's what I feel about it. Next is number 2. And I got even more shit to say about this one. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. How dare you? How dare you, Disney? This was disgusting. You fucking take the corpse of one of my favorite fucking, legendary characters and you parade him around, and you shit all over him the whole fucking time because you're bringing a fucking female character, the goddaughter of fucking, and she's constantly a bitch and an asshole and not even likable. Just shitting on fucking Indy the whole fucking time.
He's an alcoholic. He's a bad
Indy
father.
in this is not Indy. He's a fucking alcohol. Exactly.
Yeah, he's an abusive father and husband and an alcoholic, and everyone hates him.
And why? Why? So that we can have a stupid CGI tuck scene? Is it tuck? The little fucking things going. And then, Harrison Ford looks over. Like, that's the way I was looking at the film.
Yeah.
When he was so surprised. What is happening? I think
right?
I'd rather see ants fucking, skinning people alive and Shia LaBeouf swinging from trees than fucking whatever the shit this was. And then they actually go back in time through a hole in the fucking sky, and they got fucking Nazis versus fucking Greek or Roman. I don't know what is happening.
Everything is happening. It's like it's a little bit for everyone.
And the fucking mystery and I hated it. I hated it so much. The we are so far away from Short Round. Like, I'm desperate for Short Round to come back. Side characters in Indy that are fun. Even the screaming girl, you know, the blonde and what is it? Fucking.
Oh, Spielberg's wife?
Is that his wife?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, anyways, you know, this was bad. And this is a culmination of Disney's Remember Berries, modern fucking politics, and trying to capitalize off of, you know, franchises without putting in the effort, the time, the interesting story. And it really killed it. It killed it. I mean, could we have gotten any worse than Indy in a fucking fridge and a nuclear bomb? Yes. Yes. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I would much rather watch the fucking one with aliens and crystal skulls
Wait,
than
there's
I
aliens in
would.
that? I never saw that one.
You never saw that one either. Well, fuck
He never
you.
saw this
You
one.
got to see this one.
He didn't see this one.
God damn it! How did this happen? No more vacations. You cannot take any more vacations on the Angry Joe Show. Or I'm gonna when you come back from your vacation, if you purposefully plan a vacation around the Marvels, around Indiana Jones
was
and the
not
Dial of
purposeful.
Destiny, I'm gonna put a camera in your face and you're gonna give me a review when you come back. It's gonna be a vlog. You are going to be forced to watch it because you got away with this and he got away with one.
Yeah. So I actually think I want to take it a step further than you did. I think it's more nefarious than them just trying to cash in an IP. They were trying to shit on Indy to make a new trilogy. I honestly think they wanted to take. So this is a slam dunk. You want to make an Indiana Jones movie? You've got old ass John Rhys
They're
Davies.
trying to get him out of the way so that they can pass it off to this
New generation?
One no fucking way.
So, because I mean, like, can you imagine you have Sala and you have Indy and then you have, you know, his wife and you have all of these old characters come back and they're old and they're trying to figure out how to do. He doesn't have a punch that explodes Nazis anymore. He just like they're trying to figure like that is an easy movie. It would have been feel good. Everyone would have liked it. But instead, we have to shit on all of the old characters to prop up these new ones. And the only reason you really do that is when you're trying to push that forward and you want to take this woman who is playing
the best route.
Yeah, so it's like I think that
She
Makes
was
it
playing her
more-
character from
from-
some TV series.
yeah, Fleabag. So she plays a piece of shit, and then apparently that's all
And
she
at
knows how
the
to
end,
play.
she's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I guess, and I hate this film. There's not one redeeming quality. Maybe at the end, Indy gets to fuck. I guess he put his hat on the fucking clothesline or something, and Do I remember that right? Yeah, he gets back together with.
He gets his bracket. Yeah, I mean,
But this is not the send off that we wanted to give Indy, and it was an embarrassment and a indictment of how bad Disney has been recently.
yeah. It's them trying to grasp at anything they can to make the most amount of money, and they're shitting on the IPs they own. So
Okay, that was my number 2.
My
What
number
about
2
you?
is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
You did see
Yeah,
it.
I did see it.
All right.
Fuck yeah, I was going to see it.
This is where Rotten Tomatoes says this is the worst film of the year. So you got it at number 2.
Speaking of no effort, this was no effort. I expected this to be kind of like over the top and funny. They had the potential there. All right, they had like Piglet. Piglet, Eeyore,
Did you see this, Alex?
No.
and Winnie the Pooh. Terrible fucking costumes. It was like one that you get from Spirit. You just had the mask and the overalls and the flannel. Had like regular hands.
Is it like the director found out that the rights expired and then the next day he filmed a movie?
Or he had already filmed it, and because he knew, like he saw that it was on the calendar.
Yeah,
What
basically.
I'm trying to say is there was no effort, and so
Oh.
he
No,
had
there's
to
no-
run out to Spirit Halloween and grab all these things
Yes.
and put it together.
Yes, that's what it looked like.
Is it filmed on a handheld or something?
It's pretty
Or does
shitty.
it look
It's like a B
competent?
movie. It's like a B movie.
Okay.
The premise was like they would hang out. All like Christopher takes off, and then he leaves for a while, and then they get super sad, and they're like, you know what? We don't need Christopher. We're gonna take a vow of silence because it costs money when you speak.
When you
and
talk,
you're like,
yeah.
oh,
So they
bother.
talk at the beginning of the film.
They don't talk at all. It just like it tells you a story with like little narrations.
a silent-
And they get hungry and they eat Eeyore. So it's this piglet.
So they don't have to have him in the film.
Exactly. And
This is the worst example of how not to do a.
Yes.
We're gonna
It's
take
like,
your
look,
franchise and do something with it.
they coulda-
Satire, basically.
They could have had some fun with it. I don't know if they have the heffalumps.
Heffalumps, yeah.
They kind of scared me as a kid.
All right, let me ask you this, Joe. Can it be considered good bad, like Birdemic and
No.
fucking The Room?
No.
And they're like, oh man, everybody's talking about our film, about how bad it is. We're good, right?
No, I wouldn't watch this one again.
It's not that
No,
kind of bad.
I wouldn't
It's
even,
bad.
I wouldn't even tell you guys to watch it and have drinks. 'cause
On
it's-
OJ's bad movie review,
No.
it wouldn't even work on that.
No.
Oh, that's bad.
This is that like there's no effort, no nothing.
Acting, how's he acting?
There was no acting.
They're wearing masks. They're all wearing masks.
No,
the
but
gr-
the
no,
kids.
no.
The-
That's what I'm
okay,
saying.
let me
I was
ask you
making
this.
fun of the kids.
What's
There
the
was no-
payoff at the end? So I don't ever have to watch it. Does Christopher come back and they kill Christopher?
I forgot the end. That's how bad it was. Christopher
Damn,
comes
Joe.
back and he fights Winnie the Pooh and slams him to the car, but he survives. I think he survived. No, Christopher's dead. I think Christopher's dead. Shit.
Okay.
It was
It was so
bad.
bad we forgot. Got it.
My number 2 is kind of similar, Silent Night, and this is something based on expectation. You're like, you tell me a John Woo movie, and I'm like, oh, cool, action stuff's gonna be happening. And this is like I was thinking, but it's like, what movie do I never want to fucking rewatch? And this is really high up on my list
Wow.
of things that came out this year.
See,
Because
we got opinions that piss people off because people did not agree with us on Silent Night. They were like, "This was entertaining. This was a great action flick."
I don't know what they were watching. It was.
Have you seen any other John Woo films?
Yeah, it was a massive letdown. You put that name on something, and you're like, "Cool, this is what I'm going to get." And I thought that the action scenes there were some okay ones, but a lot of them were insanely disappointing. Like especially towards the end, where you have this cop for no reason shows up at this giant shootout, but the bad guy's girlfriend, who is crazy high on heroin, just magically takes them out for I don't know what fucking reason. And it's a silent movie where so no one is talking and it's just boring.
Performances are not up to par for it to be a silent film.
Yeah,
Kid Cudi is in the film because he's Kid Cudi.
yeah, exactly.
There's no reason why he should be there.
I do not want to watch this movie again, and I would rather watch Shazam before I watch this movie again. I would rather watch Ant-Man and Napoleon before I watch this movie, and that's why this is my
God
number 2.
damn.
Because I don't think there's any purpose to it. Like
I think I'd rather watch this than fucking. I don't know. I can see what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
yeah. So this is my number 2.
58% on Rotten Tomatoes for critics and 50% audience. I thought that the audience would be higher.
50% audience
At
is
least
low.
our audience, our comments was like, "You guys are wrong on this one." It's like, no, we're not. All right. So it is now time for number 1 worst film of 2023. And this is the film that killed the MCU. The MCU, the greatest superhero film franchise, combined 37,900 film franchise, is now dead because The Marvels is so fucking bad. Not only is it boring, not only is it like episode 17 in a 30-episode series kind of story. Not only does it have shitty CGI, not only does it have fucking cringe-ass jokes, but it's completely pointless. There's no reason to see the film. It doesn't tie into
Yes, there
anything.
is.
It's not an
Yes,
entertaining
there is.
story. Alex still needs to see this goddamn
You said
film.
there's no
That'll
reason.
never happen again. And Joe, you need to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That's not happening again. So because of our worst movies of 2023, we have implemented a new policy that when you come back from your fucking vacation, we're gonna focus just on you, and you're gonna watch it. But The Marvels was terrible. The villain, she's smiling the whole time. She's a terrible, terrible actress. in this. I hear she has good performances in other things. Never seen her before, but was completely inappropriately cast. Just not an entertaining villain, not an entertaining story. And it's like girl power.
Ben,
Even the
God damn it.
slumber party, like none of it works. Kamala Khan is the only thing that has any energy. She's still excited and happy to be there. The subplot between what's the fucking Monica and Photon and Marvel is not engaging. It is cliche. It is stupid. I can't talk to her. I don't want to talk to her. Why? Like, I don't get it. There's no reason to watch this. And then the most insulting thing, they try to tease the X-Men. That's how little fucking effort they have. You blow your load on the X-Men on one of your worst films of all time because you have no confidence. So we do get the Beast, Kelsey Grammer's Beast with a remodeled face, and he looks great. He looks straight out of the X-Men cartoon. Absolutely perfect. There's literally 3 frames of this film are perfect, and it has to do with Beast, the X-Men. And I'm insulted that they tease the X-Men in the Marvels, which got me, that shit's got me worried about the X-Men itself. If Disney's in charge, if Marvel's in charge, and, we blame Disney, Marvel Studios has had autonomy to do whatever the fuck they want. Well, they fucked up on this one. Mm-hmm. And if they continue to handle these films like this, I do not want them touching the X-Men. I do think Deadpool 3 is going to be good because you're dealing with the same cast and crew and you're trying to bring things over and elements, but I have no confidence in Disney moving forward with the Kang Dynasty, which may or may not be canceled at this point because Jonathan fucking Majors is convicted and Disney dropped him. So he's gone. Yeah. I don't know what we're doing. Are we course correcting? Here's my recommendation. Doom. That's the only way we're going to fix this. You go Doom right now, and then you go into the X-Men. That's the only way I think people will get back on board. But if you recast Kang, that film ain't going to do well. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to go to it. What's the other one coming? Secret Wars. I mean, you kind of already wasted a little bit of that with Spider-Man. I don't know, man. Tom Holland, is he a part of this? I don't fucking know. So it's a bad fucking time for the MCU. I mean, this shit would be bad even in the DCEU. It'd be bad. That's Marvel copying the DCEU now and doing worse. The Marvel sucked. I gave it a 3 out of 10. Yeah, Slaughterhouse, we gave it 2 out of 10. But the Marvels, Indiana Jones, and Ant-Man, these 3 films here killed their respective franchises. Ant-Man killed the MCU for me, and even Ant-Man. The Marvels killed the entire superhero genre for me, and Indiana Jones killed a legendary character.
All right, I'm heading out.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm out.
I'm out. I am fucking out right now. Mm-hmm. And now I'm one of those people that's like, I'm on Martin Scorsese's side. Like, no, we've had enough of this shit.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
No more superhero films. I'm done. All right.
Hopefully not for a while, but
no, Deadpool 3. It does seem like they're taking a little bit of a break because I think Deadpool 3 is the only MCU film that's scheduled for this coming year in 2024. Number one, you shat all over one of my favorite movies, The Exorcist.
You're The Exorcist believer?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my
so you got
fucking
to see
number
it as
one.
well.
Because I love The Exorcist. I love horror movies, and that was like a fucking classic. And I was like, okay, we're going to have like these old characters come back. It's going to be something cool. I watched it, and I was like...
On your own, we didn't do this for the show.
No.
We should have done it for the show because we would have probably rated it a fucking 3 or a fucking 2. What would you rate it?
A 1.
A 1? God damn, Joe. What was the worst part of it? What pissed you off the most?
The entire fucking movie. Nothing happens. First act, fucking trash. Second act, fucking boring. Third act, you deserve to die. You're a piece of shit.
Now I almost have to see this now. You know, It's
I
like-
hated it.
Yeah.
I fucking hated it. It was so fucking boring. You need to fast forward through
No,
everything,
no.
and then you get like these characters back for what? For nothing. And he wants to do a fucking trilogy. You can fuck right off with the trilogy. You can't even do one movie right. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to see anything from him anymore. I'm fucking
You sold
done.
me, Joe. You just sold everybody in our fucking watching.
It
Now
is
they're gonna watch
fucking
it.
dumb. It is fucking dumb.
Is it
I
worse than
hated it.
Exorcist 3?
I would rather watch Exorcist 3. I would rather watch that one.
Would you rather watch this or the Marvels? I think you fucked up.
No. The Marvels.
You'd
Because-
rather watch the Marvels
Yeah,
than this?
because
Wow.
Because you didn't care about
you
it.
didn't care.
Okay.
I don't really care about the fucking Marvel. Sure, I watch you. It's fucking dumb. I have a beer. This one, you ruined fucking Exorcist. You're ruining it.
You ruined it.
You fucking
So you don't
ruined
want
it.
them to do the next
No.
2 films, Joe.
No.
Apparently he wanted to do a new
know.
trilogy, and you bring back Regan at the end.
Just watch the fucking ending, but that's it.
Okay.
What a
Watch the ending because that's
sad.
there's stuff in there. Okay. Number 1, Alex.
Rebel Moon. It was definitely the worst thing that I saw all year. I mean, this is something where he looks at Warhammer, and he looks at Seven Samurai, and he looks at Star Wars, and he understands none of them, and he tries to smash them together. He does no world building because he's just borrowing from all of these other things. And honestly, it's like, can you even consider it a movie?
Yeah.
It's like we do get brief introductions of characters, but like we get no time in them. We have a character that's like, oh, I don't deserve love. In the very next scene, she's like, I was in love. And it's just everything
Right.
about this
Yeah.
movie is just a muddled, shitty mess. And what makes me
And didn't they say there's a huge plot hole with the soldiers having a physical attachment
Yeah.
or a love attachment at the beginning of the
make them
film? She
fight
says, I
harder.
got no love.
Yeah.
And then in the end of the film, she's like, I had this love that I was fighting for intensely.
Yeah, it's bad. And and the things that I normally think that Zack Snyder is good at, I don't think he did a very good job with any of these fight scenes. The believability is like ridiculous. There's the opening barn scene is not a very good fight scene. She's got a gun, she refuses to use it, and said she has to show you how badass she is by getting into fights with these much bigger, stronger men. I gotta show how badass I am. And then we get this completely unbelievable final fight. That the gun in the back of her head, if you turn this way, paralyzes her. And if you turn
Yeah.
it this way, immediately unlocks her. And we're gonna make that guy do it, and he knows how to work. It's just this whole
It feels
thing
like
was-
you made this up on set. It feels like.
it's wild because the difficulty for this should have been so low because
Right.
you have the 40K universe that you can pull from, which you did pull from, and you use it
That was
very,
the
very
best
poorly. And then there's the Seven Samurai, which you could have pulled from, and
you
you really,
really
really didn't. You didn't do.
Literally was a layup.
Yeah, and then and the most important thing is they sold this as the Star Wars killer, and Star Wars has never been weaker as an IP as it is right fucking now. You could
I'd rather
have-
watch Ahsoka. I would rather watch fucking Mandalorian season 3.
I'd rather watch a
2.
Book of Boba Fett than Rebel than Rebel Moon.
Yes,
this
no
is-
wonder it's number 1 on your list. Oh, and it's bloodless. I have to point this out. Like the fucking guy gets shot here, and then there's no effect
yeah, It's
too
whatsoever.
violent.
Yeah, and so this is just another opportunity.
The R version is coming later. It'll be much better. I'm Zack Snyder. I'm going to watch my shit twice.
Yeah, he wants you to watch the movie twice, and honestly, he should have known, and I'm sure Netflix told him, hey, if you're going to make a 7-hour movie, it needs to be set up in 2 parts. And this absolutely is a fucking fail as an individual movie when you look at like, oh, here's the climax, this is how it ends. We have a character who is the 7th samurai that none of us know the name of.
Yeah. That chick
The-
that joins at the end,
that-
she's got black on her eyes.
We barely introduced
Ray Fisher. What's the actor's name? Ray
Yeah,
Fisher.
Fisher, yeah.
And no, he died. And
That's
Joe's
r-
like he died in a hilarious way.
That's the only line that we have from her, and she's one of the main characters in the next movie. I mean, this movie is fucking wild how much of a failure it is, and we should have known, and I did know, and I've been telling you guys for a long time. The man can't
Literally
write.
half a movie.
He can't write. He can't follow a brief, and they're like, "Hey, man, you got to make 2 movies, so you have to have like a start, middle, and end for two times, Zach."
And he goes, here's Act 1 and half of Act 2, and that's my first movie. Well, that's not going to go over very well.
Yeah, and then what drives me crazy is, one, I have to watch the second act because it's what we have to do. And then two, the people are going to be like, look, all you had to do was watch all 7 hours all at once, and then it makes more sense.
No.
So instead of being
Fuck off.
Instead of being a 2 out of 10, this movie's like a 5 out of 10. It's like that's not
And
good
that's
enough.
probably how it's going to be.
Yeah, and so this is the worst thing I saw all year because it's also something that means I've got to do more shitty work later.
Yep. We're going to see it in April something is part 2 coming
Can't
up.
fucking
and then
wait.
in the summer is the R-rated version, which we will do another video for.
7
So
hours long.
Enjoy your fucking
The
Red
best
Bull moon.
character even said, "I'm out of this movie." And he dipped in the first act.
Who's the best character?
Sir Anthony Hopkins.
That's right. Like, he ain't even
He's
in
like
the film.
He's like, what is the script? Nah, fuck off.
Did you see it? Remember how he ran
He
around the
runs
bar?
away.
That
He took
that
off.
should have been us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just
He
left.
never shows back
and
up.
Came back.
He shows back up with fucking antlers and he's been in the woods the
What's
whole
his
time.
story? I
We would
wanna
have
know
had
his
way
story.
more fun in the woods with him than we did the rest of this film. Anyway, so guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. I was looking through all of this. The most highly rated movie on our bad list, not counting Super Mario Brothers. Audience score and critic score is actually Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. 70% critics, 88% audiences. Y'all are fucking wrong.
Super Mario as well.
critics are soft on Disney's.
Marvel's my number one. 62% critics, 82% audience. Y'all are fucking wrong. And then just a shout out to Five Nights at Freddy's, which got 32%, really low, but 87% audience holding that one up. So some controversial picks and opinions on our top list, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the big long video and you got some viewing
If
material.
You wanna check it out.
If you are a masochist, you can watch
yes, this is Bleeder.
some of these guys. And also, we've now implemented a policy for future Angry Joe Show movie reviews that Joe will no longer miss Dial of Destiny and Alex will no longer miss the Marvel since they hit our
I wouldn't say I've been
top
missing it,
five.
Bob.
Yeah, that's true. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.